Hi, welcome back. It's Eva. Today, we're going to be talking about every single five-star book I read this year. I read 178 books this year. But that being said, I don't have a ton of five stars, which is kind of surprising. Before we get into those five-star reads, I do quickly want to explain my ranking system. Just hold my hand and follow along, okay? A one star means I spent my money so you don't have to. I better not see you buying that book, okay? I made the sacrifice for all of us, okay? Collectively. I'm Jesus Christ here. I did this so no one else has to. A two star is I can kind of understand who would read this, what demographic it's for, or the idea of what we were going for, but the execution is just so bad that I can't give it anything better than that. A three-star read means it's good, I enjoyed it, I had a good time, but I don't know if necessarily it's for everyone, if I would recommend it to everyone, if I would read it again, and it's probably a little bit forgettable. A four-star read is this is so close. Like, I had a good time. I love the plot. I love the characters. I love what this story was trying to do, but it just is missing a little bit of something. Whether the writing's a little bit off, one character pissed me off too much, or there's just too much back and forth, or something that I don't like, something minuscule. It just hits that four-star instead of the five-star. Obviously, now what we all have been waiting for. A five-star read means this was gold. I don't think I've ever read something quite as exceptional as this book. I will be recommending it to everyone. It will become my new personality for the next 6 months, and I do need to see every single person buying this. Okay? I want you reading it. I want you reading it. Call me Oprah because I will personally send you this book. It's so good. And I actually did that to a couple of these this year with my friend, okay? So now that we're all caught up and everyone understands how I rate books, we're just gonna go ahead and start with January. We will be referring to my handy dandy notebook. This notebook I started this year, this is my first year doing it, where it's a uncensored review, okay? Like sometimes on Goodreads, I try and be very proper, I try to give a very good explanation, a proper review. These are just my pure, unhinged, unfiltered thoughts. So we will be referring to this book today when going over these books. My first five-star book of the year was when I read Quicksilver January 30th. Oh, Quicksilver, my darling, my beloved. Now, I know the sequel just came out. I still haven't read it because I do want to get it in paperback. But I'm so excited for books 2 and 3. I haven't seen the best reviews for book 2. I'll be honest, it's looking kind of like another powerless, reckless situation where book 1 was great, book 2 was bleh. I'm hoping book 3 makes up for it because I'm just not seeing good reviews for book 2. I'm still going to read it. That's how much I love Quicksilver. I actually was just listening to an audiobook the other day at work, and it's Quicksilver Kingfisher POV bonus content. And honestly, it's not really that great because a lot of it isn't overlapping timelines. It's like more of his past, which is fine if you want more in-depth knowledge of Kingfisher. How could you not? Like King Daddy Slay. Please, oh my god, if you haven't read this already, what are you doing? Why are we wasting time? Everyone's always like, I want a good book, I want a good book. She's right there. Now, I will be honest, I put this off for a long time because it was so big. I was like, what do you have to say that's that important? Okay? Like, I love how big this book is, and it needs to be bigger. That's what she said. I was so intimidated by the size of this book that I didn't pick it up for like a month and a half. But I'm so, so glad I did because it was everything to me. Now to see what my secret little diary says about Quicksilver. Finally, my first five-star read of 2025. It took me some time to get into. I almost DNF'd it. Thankfully, I'm not a quitter. I'm so in love with this book. I did call some of the twists and tropes, but I really enjoyed it. I even added it to my favorite shelf. Their chemistry and banter was insane. I was frothing at the mouth. Please understand my love and utter excitement for this book. How do I wait for book 2? I can't. I'm in agony. And then I gave it a 5 out of 5, obviously. Couple status, headcanon, endgame, Kingfisher and Me. Kingfisher and Me! This is gonna be an unpopular opinion, but Kingfisher might be my number one book husband. Oh my god, guys, I know. I love it! Second 5-star read happened on February 6th when I read Wings of Starlight. If you don't know what Wings of Starlight is, it's Queen Clarion from Pixie Hollow's like origin story. It's about how her and Lord Mallory met and fell in love and ultimately were broken apart. When I got my hands on this book, I came home and I put on search up Pixie Hollow ambiance on YouTube, and I found one that plays all the Pixie Hollow like nostalgia music, and it like flips through pictures of Pixie Hollow. As I read this, when I tell you I felt like a little girl again, honestly nothing can compare to this feeling, and it was so worth it because it was one of my favorite like Tinkerbell movies. So I was so thrilled to find out we were finally getting a book. Now what we need is an animated movie, Disney, to come out because I absolutely love the Pixie Hollow franchise. We are in fact getting another book. I do not know who the book is based off of, but I do know we are in fact getting another Pixie Hollow book, and I will eat it up. I used to read all the like old Tinkerbell Pixie Hollow books growing up, like with the original artwork and everything. Loved the movies. The song To the Fairies came on during Queen Clarion's coronation. I'm truly an emotional wreck. This was heartbreakingly good. I never wanted it to end, and yet knowing how it ended broke me. I knew the ending and still wished for a happy ending. Every moment between them was beautiful and full of love. I truly believe they are soulmates because this was otherworldly. Thank you for finally giving us this book. Maybe a movie now? Then on February 11th, I read Before the Coffee Gets Cold. This is such a good, whimsical, time traveling short story book. I would definitely recommend this for like a rainy day in or a snowy day in if you do happen to find yourself in a place where it snows. It's warm, it's cozy, it somehow makes you reflect all at the same time while putting you in a safe environment to do so. Definitely recommend this. In fact, I think I might even want to read the other books in the series in the upcoming year. Such a short and great book. I loved the cafe. There are there are tons of rules, and it pains me that we find out towards the end you can only use the chair once. Ugh, at times it felt like they were making up rules as we go. The stories hit me deeply, grief written into the words. The characters were developed and well enough for me to feel for each and every one of them. I think my least favorite story was 4, the best was 2. I bawled. Drink the coffee before it gets cold. No matter what you do, it doesn't change the future. I love this book. It's one of those books that does permanently change you into a completely different human being, and I think that's another beautiful part of that book. I finished the next book on February 13th, and that's going to be The Bridge Kingdom. I have recommended this book to everyone this year. No fucking lie, okay? I love this book so much. I bought another copy, an original cover copy for my friend and shipped it to her for Christmas. Like, I don't play about this book. I need more people to know about this book. I've read other things from this author, unpopular opinion. I do not like her other series, but the Bridge Kingdom series, all of those books are phenomenal. I don't know what she's putting in these books. Every single one of them, knockout, okay? Arranged marriage, done. Enemies to lovers, here, okay? It is so, so good. She's an assassin princess. She's an assassin princess sent to kill her future husband. Okay? Like, write that down. I need that trope more. You know what? Hell, I'll make it, okay? I need more of this. I said, quote for quote, well, shit. Now I need the next 2 books. The idea of this book is what kept me reading because the first 3 chapters were slow, but then it picked up incredibly. King Arwen, while a man of few words, those words were not wasted. Every your queen, and the honesty he gives her, ugh, it's heartbreaking and too much to handle. The ending had me screaming at the book. Hours later, I'm still thinking about it. I really wish I already had books 2 and 3. A real crime that I'm forced to wait with a cliffhanger like this. I need more of them, please. On February 14th, I finished Light Lark. I loved this book. I know it has very unpopular opinions. If you have a negative opinion about it, just save your breath because you won't change my mind. I love this book. I love the concept of this book. Now, I will say, book 4 disappointed me a little bit. Just a little bit. Okay, not enough to stop me. I'm still getting the next one. I'm still loving these. I love this book so much. In fact, I also sent this to the same friend who I sent The Bridge Kingdom. I love you, Emmy. I want her to read all of my favorite books because they're just so good. And I want people to read books that make me feel so good so that you can feel good too. Right? We got a love trope. We got the chosen one. We got a Persephone Hades memory loss trope kind of situation. Like, it's just so good. Please, if you haven't already, go ahead and read Light Lark. The next book I ended up reading, I finished on March 19th, and I did rent this one from the library, so I don't have a copy to show you, but it is a prequel to Six Crimson Cranes, okay? My unfiltered thoughts of this book were, that dragon's a bop, but shit, this hurt bad. The moments between Shawnee and Vanna, them telling stories before bed, the little cakes, the adventures, it kept me gripped. My hands never left the book. It makes Six Crimson Cranes way more painful. All of it was painful. She lost her sister. Her sister loved the shaman's son. Every moment gave me pain. For the first time ever in my life, I understood the sister's love trope. Elizabeth Lim knows how to break a heart. Also, she's great at a whimsical setting. Her tales are beautiful, something I would want to read to my daughter. I have no kids. I mean, I have my cats, my two little sons. But speaking of the library, the next book I also gave a 5 stars was also borrowed from the library. I finished it on March 20th, and it's called Mother of Rome. I'm not going to try to explain it to you. I'm just going to go ahead and read my unfiltered thoughts because I don't want to butcher it and make you not read it because I picked it up being hesitant of what the plot was, but it ended up being so rewarding. I said, my gods, this was beautiful. Truly a beautiful story. Heartbreaking, too, that this book did in fact make me cry, just like the last book I read. The myth, while very well known, hadn't been written about very much. The myth about the two sons of Rome who ended up killing each other for the throne. I enjoyed reading a new story and a new myth. The author had a good balance of pain and love. The ending wrecked me, but the twist of her going into the she-wolf to wife of the river god, I loved how different he treated her. Special and kind, unlike Mars, for real, that's a situationship for real. I don't remember which twin said it, but Rhea did deserve that great kind of love. I'm happy she found it in the end. Sad the brothers didn't grow old together. And I drew a wolf. On March 20th, my life changed forever when I read This Woven Kingdom. Now you're probably like, oh, that's so dramatic. It's not, okay? I borrowed this book from the library, read it all in 4 hours, loved it so much, I bought the next one and read it again a couple months later. This is spectacular. It keeps you on your feet. It's, oh my god. I don't have the words to explain to you how wonderful this book series is. So I'll just go ahead and read my unfiltered thoughts instead. I forgot that I fell. Girlies, I'm about to share something a little bit embarrassing right now. I didn't know this Woven Kingdom was a love triangle, so I, the whole time, was very much on board with Kamran. I'm not anymore. I'm not. I'm full Team Cyrus. Full Team Cyrus. But as of reading the first book, I wasn't. I know. I know. I'm just gonna read it anyway, but just keep that in mind because I forgot. Maybe the best fantasy ever? I'm like in love with this book, not a joke. Like the heir prince to an empire is a warrior who has eyes for only one? Yes, please. The vibe of this book is Game of Thrones x Cinderella, and I loved it. It wasn't at all predictable, and I was actually shocked. Like gasping, crying, and ripping my hair out. The whole ordeal. A Jinn queen? This is giving an even better Throne of Glass. Which is the truth, because I didn't really love it. But this, I did. Like, I already want to reread it. I did. And I truly cannot express how good this was. I need this story injected into my veins. Normally, I fall for the powerful, dark, mean, and brooding man, but I don't know this time. Like, I enjoy what Cyrus brings to the table, but I just need to see what else he's got. We do see what else he's got. And you jump ship real quick, girl. On April 10th, I reread a classic that I hadn't read in a really long time and still gave it 5 out of 5. It's The Outsiders. This book is a classic for a reason. Now, I haven't read this since I think it was like 8th grade, but I wanted to reread it because I was like having like a Greasers, Socias kind of phase where I was watching Grease a bunch. And so I wanted to reread this, and it did not disappoint. Story about 3 boys from the rundown areas of town feeling neglected, who get nothing, who are getting bullied at school by these preppy little bitches who don't know shit, and then they literally commit a murder and then run away and then save a bunch of kids in the process, which in turn shows that they're actually good people. Like, there's so many dynamics here. This story obviously is coded in nostalgia for me. It always will be. But it is one book that you have to read at least one time. And I don't mean just read it because you're forced to read it like I did in school. You have to read it. I need you to sit down, and I just need you to clear your mind and focus, okay? It's not very long. It won't take you a long time. Just read it one time for me, okay? Thank you. I said, always and forever a tragedy. This book hurts, seeing the hardships of young boys who deserve so much better. I didn't know that the author began writing this book at 15, and it's inspired by his real youth. For some reason, that makes this book even better. Stay golden. Stay golden, pony boy. Stay golden. It always hurts. April 19th, I finished The Rebel Blue Ranch with Wild and Wrangled. I love cowboy books. You will always catch me loving a cowboy. If I am not reading a cowboy book, someone check in on me because there is something wrong. I love Rebel Blue Ranch. Now, is this my favorite one in the series? No. But almost every single book in the series got at least a 5-star from me. It's just unfortunate that this is the only book of Lila Sage that got a 5 out of 5 this year. If you know, you know. This is what I had to say about Wild and Wrangled. For real sad that this series, Rebel Blue Ranch, has come to a close. This series has held such a good and warm place in my heart. This book transported me right back to where we left off. I felt like crying because I didn't want this to be over. I didn't want to leave. But all great things must come to an end, and what a way to end it. And honestly, what a way to end it. Because sometimes when you read a standalone series where every book is based off of an individual, like, romance story, not all of them are great. And sometimes you can end off on a book that's 4 out of 5 or 3 out of 5 or even lower than that. But this one, what a way to end it. Honestly, fantastic. Then on May 20th, I read Revenge of the Sith, the Star Wars novel. It took me so long to get my hands on it. That's why I settled for this tiny little copy. I don't care. Oh my god, I ate this book up. I ate this book up. I could have highlighted every single word in this novelization. I loved this book. If you're a Star Wars girly, Emmy, if you haven't already, get this book and read it right now. I have all the prequel books. I have book 1, book 2, book 3, but I haven't read them yet. That's for next year. I said, how did this hurt worse than the fucking movie? The novel is a romance. Not a happy ever after, but regardless a romance. This is the first novel written by a man where I could feel the yearning, could sense the love, passion, and the pain. So much pain. And then I had a quote at the bottom, all stars burn out, but love can ignite the stars. Cut the fucking camera! On June 18th, NetGalley so graciously accepted me for an arc of a book I had been waiting for a real long time. The Princess Knight. I saw a little TikTok of the author promoting this book, and I was ready, I had it marked on my calendar, and then ARCs opened up, and I figured the worst thing that happens is I never hear anything back. Well, I did, and I read it, and I loved it so much that I bought a physical copy and reread it when it came out. If you want a princess knight situation, read this. It's a different take on it, so don't be expecting a damsel in distress, but it's amazing. and I love it. And I'm so, so thankful that I got to be one of the first people to read it. And I can't explain to you how excited and privileged and wonderful it felt to sit there on my phone and read something that the public couldn't get to read for the next couple of months. And I had to keep it a secret, okay? It was the hardest thing I had to do. Don't get me wrong. The second I could, I started blabbing about this book, okay? I was talking about it everywhere. And I'm so happy I have a copy of it in my hands. Back in June, I had a lot to say about this book, so just hear me out. When I got the email for this today, I freaked out, like literally jumped for joy. I've been waiting for this book since the author began posting about it on TikTok. Getting an early arc for this is literally crazy. But regardless, I found the beginning slow, but it gripped me before the 100-page mark. I didn't understand the magic or the laws, but hung out for the vibes. Their love, while a subplot, was still very steamy and engaging. It felt a bit young at times, kind of like a young teenager romance, but I still ate this up. I really loved it, and I read the whole thing in like 4 hours. I could see this becoming a movie, like Princess Bride. I would love it. I loved this book so much, I'll have to buy it. I need everyone to read this. The following night, on June 19th, I read a children's novel called The Secret of the Blue Glass. Now you're probably thinking, you read a children's novel? Yeah, I've been doing it all year, okay? I had been renting children's novels from the library to kind of like help me through reading slumps, to like heal my inner child, reread some of the ones that I remember loving growing up, and I had a really fun time doing it too. Edward Tulane, I also read that from the public library this year and also gave it a 5 out of 5 stars, okay? But The Secret of the Blue Glass is for everybody, in my honest opinion. And I know you're probably thinking to yourself, like, that sounds so stupid. I know it sounds stupid, and I thought I would be stupid reading this book. I wanted a book that was like kind of inspired by every single Studio Ghibli movie, and I found this one while looking for something that was kind of like The Secret Life of Already. When I tell you this met the quota and then some, it's about World War II and about a little family who is struggling to survive during that. And when I say a little family, I'm not saying like, oh, they're 3 feet tall. I mean like they're tinier than my pinky. Imagine that, okay? And the story is so good and it's so gripping and it's very whimsical. So honestly, I can see why kids love the book, but I think adults can love it too. I really feel like this book is for everybody. On June 20th, I ended up reading one of the most painful books of the year, Sunburn, a queer, unhappy love story. It does have a happy ending. I know the way I'm describing it, it doesn't sound like there's a happy ending. There is a happy ending, but you have to go through turmoil to get there. Getting a little personal here for a minute. This book hit extra hard for me because I live in the deep, deep South, and I am a bisexual woman who was raised in a very conservative household, who was not taken seriously, and to this day was not taken seriously. And it's something I struggle with a lot, being in a long-term relationship with a man, and a lot of people trying to deny my identity or rip away parts of it or just not acknowledge them altogether. It's really hard because in the South we're kind of taught to just cover it all up with pretty little makeup and go about your day and be nice, you know? But this book does a really good job at showcasing the shame that we hold and how desire comes out in really different ways because of the shame that we hold so deeply. And I just think that Miss Chloe does a fantastic job of showing how hard it can be to be gay and to be queer. And I think if you are a part of that community, or if you have any interest in how you can be a better support for that community, I think Sunburn is a great way to start that journey. My unhinged thoughts on this book was ruin me and ruin me again. This book hit a little too close to home. The hatred from her mother was way too real for me, devastatingly real. I felt the pain, I felt the heartbreak, I couldn't pull myself away. Dear gods, this really hurt. I'm pretty sure I was literally in tears as I was writing that, so it explains why I wrapped it up really quickly so I could probably go grab a tissue. On July 31st, someone recommended me one of the best books of the year, Left of Forever. Now, this is book 2 in a series. I read book 1. Definitely also recommend it. It's really good. It's just not as good as this one, unfortunately. This one is gold. It's about two exes who had been together for a really long time, who had a kid together, split up because they just had gotten together too young and couldn't figure things out. They go their separate ways. They still are in love with each other. They cannot move on. But then they start secretly writing each other, and she doesn't know it's him. He kind of knows. He does know. And they fall for each other over again. And it's such a beautiful story, and I love it. And I'm not going to spoil it with a quote. Just go read it. All I had to say about this book was perfect. No notes, absolute cinema. Will read again. On September 2nd, I finally got my hands on Dream by the Shadows. This book had been recommended to me for, I think, a year and a half before I finally got to read it, because she independently published it and it got so famous that someone bought it and they pulled it all off the shelves, and I had to wait for them to republish it. I'm just glad I got to read it. It was a little annoying waiting forever to get my hands on it after everyone was already raving about it. I felt like I was left out. And honestly, you should feel like you're left out, because this is like King Shadow Daddy. If you are into the Shadow Man, kind of like forced proximity tropes, pick this up, my girl. Pick this up right now. Pick it up tomorrow. Actually, make a plan to go out to the store, grab yourself a latte, pick up this beautiful book, and start reading it, because it's definitely worth it. I said, this is the freshest fantasy concept I've read in a long time. Such a new take on the Shadow Men trope. Gods, I loved it. Loved every second of this read. 100% would read again. And then I drew a little castle. A bad castle, but I drew a little castle. On September 16th, I filmed a YouTube video that is already on my channel where I read Heartless for the first time. I was really intimidated to read this book. I was scared. I didn't know what was entailing. And honestly, I had every right to be scared, because I still can't think about this book without getting a little upset. There's no happy ending, alright? I need to preface this to you. If you don't want to read the book, I recommend go watching my video and watch me break my heart. But I won't lie, it's kind of worth it. If you can prepare yourself for the fact that it has a sad ending, like I failed to do, I think you'll love this book. I said heartbreakingly good. Of course it was. Yet I'd been so unprepared for the ending. Oh, that was a painful ending. I feel broken and whole all at the same time. And then I drew a tiny little pie. Now it's time for the last 5-star book of 2025. I read on December 10th, which is Good Spirits. Oh, y'all bitches weren't lying. I read Good Spirits for my monthly book club, which I host on Fable. It's a digital book club where we all read our books independently and text each other about it, send jokes, vote for the next book, and we all unanimously voted for Good Spirits. So I was really excited to finally read this. It didn't disappoint. Holy shit. I will say, going into it, I had not read the excerpt. I had no idea what this book was about. Looking at the book, I was like, okay, we got a small town romance. He's probably a baker. She's probably CEO of some business in New York or whatever. I was like, this is definitely going to give Hallmark. I was so wrong. Don't get me wrong. There were cringy moments like the snow globe. If you know, you know. I'm going to be spoiling this. So if you want to go into this book blind to be completely surprised and have a great time like I was, click off the video and read the book. If you don't mind getting it spoiled, stay here and I will tell you. That man does not own a bakery. He's the ghost of Christmas past. And he's a Irish sailor from the 1900s who falls in love with the girl who he has to show her Christmas past, present, and future to for her to become a good person. And they fall in love. And they kiss and stuff. This book was the perfect book to put me in the holiday mood. I can't lie, I was feeling like a little bit of a Grinch this year, and then I read this book. I was listening to Bing Crosby while reading it, and I was having such a good time. I put lights on the Christmas tree, I had hot cocoa, I had my fuzzy socks on. It was so worth it, and I'm so happy I read this book. My thoughts were truly spectacular. Like, can I get a movie, please. This was the best holiday book I've ever read. I feel the holiday magic, the joy, the cheer. I will read this next year and the new one. Only words, fantastic. And then I drew little holiday stuff. Before we wrap things up here, I did want to give a honorable mention. It's not a 5 out of 5, but it is a 4.75, so it is super close. And while I did give a lot of books that rating this year, this book triumphed them all. On November 5th, I read If It Makes You Happy. This book is so rom-com 90s coded. I'm frothing at the mouth. It's fantastic. I thought everyone was overhyping it because I was like, look at it. Come on. It can't be that great. No, it can be, and it is. If you need a fall romance for next year, please plan on reading this. Don't read it now. Save it for fall. Watch the movie Mystic Pizza, and then the next day, read this, okay? So my thoughts on this book were obviously it's so rom-com coded. I actually need this book to be adapted into a movie. Such an engrossing, cozy, small town slow burn romance. Like they really made us work for that first kiss. I will say it was a bit dragged out at the end with all the will they won't they, which is why it did not get a 5 out of 5 because it was just too much will they, won't they, will they, won't they, when clearly they are going to. And just like that, that is every single book that I gave a 5 star to in the year of 2025. I do have a few goals for 2026 that I'm going to share with you guys. My reading goal is 100 books. I do want to post one YouTube video a month on this channel, and I'm going to continue posting every day on TikTok and every couple days on Instagram and once a month on Substack. So if you do want more content from me, go ahead and follow me there. Go ahead and hit that little subscribe button for me down below so we can continue talking all things books together. And if you plan on reading one of the books that I mentioned today, please go ahead and tell me in the comments because I'm so excited to hear from you. Thank you guys so much for joining me for the year of 2025. It's been wonderful and I've enjoyed reading. I can't wait to see you guys in the new year of 2026. Happy holidays and Happy New Year. And I'm like, bitch, that's my cookie. Bitch, that's my juice. Yeah.